ECPM is 100% decided by a group of factors. So algorithms for networks are all decided by various factors. Google uses 94 factors to decide ECPM. Rumor has it that one of the factors is the weather. So basically they link the weather with whatever you're doing. AppLovin has 71 different factors, and apparently what their algorithm is weighted towards is device quality. So how expensive your device is. Iron Source has 61, I was told by someone. But basically, there's like 7 or 8 main factors that decide what your ECPM is, and everything is tied back.
It's 4 a.m. and we're rolling the dice. Matei drops knowledge made of golden eyes. Felix with ads making those coins rise. Jack up designs, worlds chasing the sky. We're the 2.5 gamers, the midnight crew. Talking UA adverts and game design too. Matei, Felix, Shaka bringing the insight. We're rocking those vibes till the early daylight. Matei, UA, master eyes on the prize. Tracking data through the cyberspace skies. Felix stacks dollars like a wizard in disguise. Jack up's crafting realms lift us to the highs. 2.5 gamers talking smack. Slow hockey stick, got your back. Ads are beautiful, they light the way. Click it fast, don't delay.
Oh, hello. Welcome. Let me actually ping the Slack channel. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming for another live AMA.
It's true.
Yeah, finally. I mean, we lost one person.
Yeah, to fatherhood. Parenthood.
To fatherhood, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about who's this? No. The mustache man.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello. Hey, welcome.
The cheerful Finn.
That was pretty good intro.
It was really good.
Thank you. Yeah, still cheerful despite the horrible luck that we've had in hockey for the past few days. But
oh man, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why don't you move to Vietnam and launch a game?
Yeah, I guess I have to.
Oh my god. Yeah,
how's it going?
Good. Nice to have you, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You came. Yeah, you came to visit us in our live AMA, which is actually 8th one. And we lost the guy because Jakub is not coming because he just had the child.
Oh, I don't know if that's a free pass or not, but
kind of, I guess. Kind of is. Yeah, I will see if we have actually any questions because it was kind of last. Do you
want to do an intro maybe, Jesse, and then tell us what you're working on, and then maybe I'll ask you some questions, and then we'll get someone brave enough to ask questions.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, not a hockey player, even though I kicked off with hockey. We've been running Keyclub for a bit now. I'm one of the co-founders. Yanni was actually with you guys a while back as well, and he's one of us as well. Nice. Yeah, we've done ASO concept validation for about 5 years through Keyclub, and just for the past sort of 2 years, we've been developing like a iOS attribution and analytics tool that we've now been like really, really focused on for the past half a year or so, like actually doing things on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Look at Felix like, whoa, wait a second.
I have a question, and I just want to ask straight away off the bat. ASO takes a special personality to do. How much is going to get replaced with AI? Like, it should just seems to me that this is an AI task. ASO.
Right. Yeah, and I think the entire like term ASO in itself as well is quite broad. Like, people think about keyword optimization. People think about like just general, like more about search engine optimization. The point
That's
of
what
view
I meant. It takes a special person. That's
exactly,
what takes a special person to do.
So maybe to also clarify a bit. So we've more been on the paid user acquisition side still. So focused more on like just making sure that whomever ends up on your App Store page actually will be converted to a install and maybe even be educated on that platform as well, so that when they come from a misleading ad, you'll be slowly transitioned into understanding what the game is all about.
Okay.
But can you talk a little bit more about the actual iOS framework that you are now fully focusing on?
Yeah,
because that's interesting. That's very interesting.
sure. Thanks. Yeah. Well, very, very short. Kind of what we noticed was that all these frameworks that we've now put in place instead of having access to IDFA, scan, like they're still like frameworks that focus on kind of user level information, and when it comes to like making creative decisions, when it comes to actually running campaigns, you're not necessarily you don't have to dive into user level information. So that's kind of our entire mentality. So what we did, we built up a new framework, a creative level framework that allows us to, we have an SDK that you put into your game or a server to server solution as well, which does all the kind of sensitive calculations on device and then shares only like information that we can attribute on a creative level by creative on iOS. And because we're not using scan, we're doing everything in there, we're privacy compliant, and at the same time everything works in real time, which is quite cool. And then for attribution, we utilize any kind of more things from e-commerce, I guess, so conversion API on Meta and things like this on the self-attributing networks to then allow them to do their like probabilistic matching and so on to attribute correctly. But yeah, that's kind of the high level picture of what we did.
Nice. What does Apple usually say about circumventing scan?
Yeah, like, but we're not touching any of the things that scan is kind
exactly.
So that's kind of the thing. We don't care about like what you guys specifically eat for breakfast. We care about what do people that eat cereals as a whole have in common, right? Like, so that's kind of the mentality in there.
Yeah, because you don't really need scan or just bypass the scan at all. You know, like Facebook is doing it, TikTok is doing it, so kind of easy. But yeah, we already have a question. So when doing a soft launch for a new casual or hyper casual game, is it a bad idea to put the game app in all major countries, app stores, and then focus UA efforts in the countries you are testing? Honestly, it's not a problem or bad idea. There were times in the past where this would lead to not getting featuring. Maybe now it's also leading to the point where you can't get featuring because the game is out there already. But what if instead of doing this, you just go to a beta testing on Google and you can do basically the same thing, just go to all the countries, but then you are still in the beta. So you have that tag which is called beta testing, and you don't really get the reviews or ratings, and still out there and you can test it out. So I would do that.
Yeah,
just your mic is scratching your sweater a bit. If you're gonna,
oh sorry,
yeah, perfect.
It's a nice sweater, by the way.
I thought you were writing something. Like you should write. No, you should write.
I try it like this. I don't know.
It's fine.
Better.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Oh,
yeah, that's good.
Oh, I can think again.
I'm sorry. Yeah, in regards to that, hopefully people can still hear what you were saying.
Yeah,
with that.
This is perfect. No, this is good. Yeah, this is good.
Awesome. But also like around BGC London, there was this Google for Games event, and they were like actually going through a ton of like pre-launch strategies and pre-launch things that they have. I can try to pull up. I have horrible memory, so I can't remember by heart, but they were going on about, like, as an example, how you can actually do different types of sort of, because they have like the internal testing, closed beta, open beta stuff, all these, and you can do those separately in separate geos as well. So you don't have to like kind of do it one for everything, but you can kind of define what your goals per like specific geo is and go from there.
It's good. That's I think we discussed this also on the Think Games in Istanbul, where I was with Nimrod on the stage, and he was talking about exactly this, like going from the internal testing until you actually global launch. And I use it all the time, so that should be easy. That should
Right.
be easy. Okay, so we have then
summarize it.
yeah.
Just so yes, like
Sure,
nice
well,
bite size.
summary is like you can launch worldwide, but you don't need to, because you can be in different internal stage testing, alpha testing, and beta testing stages for different geos, and you're basically doing the same thing, but you can then have actually a chance to get featured afterwards.
Perfect. Soundbite for LinkedIn. Boom.
and I have to quickly tap onto that. Like, yeah, you might not be able to get featured anymore, and I might shoot like all the ASO like people in the leg here, but like honestly, what's the actual, like, it used to be featuring, be kind of make it or break it 5, 6, 7 years back, but like, is it really anymore, right? Like, it's not the most important thing of your like global launch, for sure.
Even from an ads perspective, being featured is like because the ECPM is terrible.
Right.
Yeah, but you know why it's terrible? Because you get shitty countries. That's why it's terrible. If you get the majority of the countries, it's tier 1, then it makes sense. But now it's kind of tough. Well, we have another question. Yes, so I heard that special characters like I guess it's dot in iOS ASO titles could count as double.
So special characters, you mean
like having a dot or a comma or something? Is it a bug still? Is this bug still a thing? I got recommendation to avoid using all 30 characters if special characters are included.
We haven't at least like it's not in my radar that would be an issue.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing it, actually.
Yeah. Interesting. Happy to chat more on the Slack channel though, if and hear more if that's the thing.
Matti, I have a UA question that I've been wanting to ask. So this scan update that search ads did, or Apple did yesterday, that was all over LinkedIn. What's that all about? The view through. Can you explain to me?
You mean the Apple? Okay, so well, they're adding view through attribution. So basically, if you saw an ad, then you can be attributed to that ad. But it's like these days Facebook is almost claiming all the installs, because you check your phone and you see the Facebook app icon, and then suddenly you're counted as an install. Jokes aside. So it's basically they would be counting now almost like all the impressions in the world as an install, and it's like basically driven by Apple search ads, which is obviously not true.
Yeah. So basically, what you're telling me is that if you run a campaign and I saw an ad for that in this Apple search ads, then basically if I download that game 2 weeks later, they're going to be like, yeah, that was actually us.
Could be, yeah. So we are experiencing some issue, but it's solved. It was a
Isn't
problem.
That sneaky?
Yeah.
Right. And I understood that for some extent it was available, but now they were like kind of pushing through the ads attribution API, which means that like they're part of the attribution game now as well. So not only the self-attributing networks and app logins, but literally every network is now like
yeah.
Oh, we have another question from Silax. Have you ever experienced CPI campaigns outperforming ROAS campaigns? Should they ever run at the same time?
Yeah, 2014 when there was no ROAS campaigns.
Yeah,
I guess. Okay, good answer.
Maybe scale would be the only, like if you have like very 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 minimal scale, so then it could be that you could achieve CPI like better results with CPI campaigns, as the attributions, like you would get more conversion events back to the networks. But
yeah, that's the myth I'm hearing always, like, you should run CPI campaigns to feed the VO or the ROAS campaigns. Like, I'm not sure like how that kind of works. But then the part of the question is like, should they run at the same time? Well, look, I run all optimizations, CPIs, up event optimized campaigns, ROAS campaigns, doesn't matter until they're kind of meeting the goals, right? So if they're producing results, why not? Rarely they do. Usually the CPA campaigns are quite bad in terms of ROAS.
Cool. All right. So Honor Onse has a question. Really cool name, by the way. Like it. Hi there. I run campaigns, install campaigns on Facebook for my mobile game. We send impressions to Facebook, but I don't use a third-party solution such as Adjust or MMP. I sent these events from Facebook SDK, but ROAS is still locked, verified account. What do you suggest?
Well, what do you wanna do? I mean, do you wanna run the value optimized campaign? If so, you need to get data. So you need to have for value, I think it was like 100 purchases. So that is unlocked. It doesn't matter if you have Adjust or whoever, singular. You can still do this tracking with the Facebook SDK, which is fine. So what you need to do is try to run up event optimized campaigns for purchase. And then that's going to unlock you or help you get unlocked the value optimized campaigns afterwards. If this is around AdROAS campaigns, same thing. Only this case is that you're actually going to get the campaign unlocked quite quickly, because you don't really need 100 purchases for that. You just need some ad revenue coming in from the campaigns in the last 7 days. So, Homer, if you can specify if you're looking for VO, that would be awesome.
Nice.
We don't know.
I actually wanted to ask you a question as well, Matthew, because I remember when we first started this podcast 3 years ago, we did an episode on soft launching and everything, or testing for ideas of games, like the really early stages. And basically, I think your advice back then is just run campaigns on Facebook to landing pages. Is that still the recommended thing to do when you're ideating a game?
Careful,
or is there somewhere else you should go?
It's a good thing that we have yes over here, because it was back then, because you still can do multiple things. You can have the landing page, but then you won't have the additional data right afterwards after someone clicks on that landing page, because there is no tracking. Well, I work very closely with Geek Lab, and we worked before, because you can create that landing page or fake store page in Geek Lab as well, and then just use that as a link. My camera is shaking. And then what is really interesting and important to do is to run actually a conversion-based campaigns, because you want to kind of simulate the CPI campaign as much as you can. And with clicks, you are not doing that. Not even close. Not even close.
Echoing 100%. Like with clicks, you get the conversion rates on the actual landing pages, for instance, with nothing like you would in the real world. You get completely different audiences. So that loop is important. And then what we often do, it's still a thing, in short, but also depends a bit on the stage as well. So I guess now there's a lot of more opportunities with Google as an example. So if you have someone of a beta out, so you can actually then go for Google for these things, where previously we were kind of the only option. But in the very early stage, you still should do it. And then after the landing page, you can have a survey where you can ask motivations and actually start to build up your player profiles and understand what type of users are actually coming through. Or do they match
with
emails?
Get emails as well.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So what would be your advice if you're starting? You have a couple of ideas for making a game. What's your best advice? How do you start?
Just test, honestly. And now with AI as well. The thing is,
when you say test, you mean test running it on Facebook, or test setting it up, or what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Just test running it on Facebook. Then if you don't have the resources, so even just doing it on Facebook is better than not doing it at all.
Yeah.
And if you have the resources, so use Splitmetrics. They provide more or less similar services. So just do that, so that you'll get the good picture. And well, you guys know this even better. With AI now, you're able to actually get to that testing stage a lot faster.
Yeah.
And the thing I would say is that if everything is equally unpolished, so then the test is valid. So you don't have to like kind of make the most polished final art, whatever. If it's unpolished enough, like equally, it's a valid test for the case.
All right, so Silax is back with another question. What up, what up? How are companies scaling tier 3 regions? From our experience, the MMP feels like T3 regions not profitable. Is there something we're missing?
Well, of course, it's not profitable when you pay 5 cents for CPI or for installs and then 7 cents for attribution.
Yeah. I remember last game back when I was working at Rovio that I was part of like team launching was Dream Blast. And back then we were like trying to do stuff on India, and that ended up costing us more than actually get any like essentially ad revenue from there. I remember you guys have been talking about this too earlier, where I think Felix, you mentioned something about having great success where the timing was right, and then there was like a big sports event.
It's every 4 years, and it's during the Cricket World Cup, which is right after the Kabaddi World Cup, and then for 2 weeks, basically Indian CPMs become, I want to say Romanian, but not really Romanian. Let's just go with maybe Egyptian.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but like back to the tier 3 regions non-profitable. Yes, of course, like that adds a lot of the burden on the CPI. If this is the case for attribution, what we did or what we're doing with different gaming companies is just turning off the attribution for tier 4 or tier 3 countries.
You don't care, right? Or
I don't exactly. Expensive? I don't care. You can just use the SDK of Facebook or Google Firebase and just turn on the MMP, and then use the solution that provides the UA channel, because that's really helps with the CPI and LTV equation.
All right. So
makes sense.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. For Facebook ROAS campaigns via ads, we don't have an option to send ads impressions on Facebook. Well, it's only half kind of half of the problem, because we don't have the full picture. What's the what option are you talking about? If you just need to send the event, which is called ad impression event, and you send it either via Facebook SDK or you send it via MMP, period. There are different methods or just guidelines how to do it on AppsFlyer, Singular, and Adjust. But as soon as you have that event sending, which is, for simplification, let's call it ad impression event in the MMP SDK, you need to pair that with Facebook ad impression event and send value as well. You do this, you're fine. I just did it with 3 different games in last 2 weeks, and it works. You just need to set it up correctly. If you want, hit me up on our Slack channel, and we can discuss it.
All right, good answer. So Martin from M&M Games, nice.
M&M.
Everybody seems to be discussing UA and monetization segmentation in hybrid games these days, but nobody gives any insights how it's done. Any idea advises how and where to start. Things like having 2 monetizing segments in your game, the ad monetized segment for non-paying users versus IAP monetized one, for example. How do big, casual, and mid-core games usually do that?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
All right.
Take a sip and then just you can talk for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to talk. Okay, so basically the key to actually start doing segmentation, right, is that you just need to have IAP revenue and ad revenue. So like if you have 100% ad revenue, it's better to segment on things. We had a really good podcast you can check from Anatoly from Bernie Games, where essentially he kind of opened up the kimono a little bit, not too much, but basically the hint that we got from that conversation is that they segment users based on ECPM, which was a bit counterintuitive, because essentially they actually decrease the amount of interstitial impressions if they have a high ECPM, because they want to have a user for longer. So basically what they had built in was logic basically that checks every time an interstitial impression is served. And then if it's above a certain level, then they decrease the frequency. So it's not after every level, but every 2 levels. So basically that's logic you need to put into your code on your ad serving. And when you put in kind of the serving logic, when you have an interstitial in your game, you can put that in on some code. So it's like an if and then statement where you pull the data from your mediation platform. So if ECPM is higher than $40, don't show interstitial every level, for example. Then kind of the gold standard, which I actually don't know how to do technically. Maybe any one of you guys would know, but basically that is if you have a little bit of ad revenue and a little bit of IAP revenue together, so it's hybrid casual, basically that you segment the users based on the type of user acquisition campaign you're doing. So basically if Mattia brings a user using an IAP campaign, that means that that user is a premium user, right? So then you usually don't show ads for the first 3 days, let's say. And then if a organic traffic, which we said has bad ECPM, or if a ad ROAS campaign brings a user, if you see that basically the string that the campaign that you're getting from the MMP comes from that user, then essentially you show ads as quickly as possible. Like,
well, that's the technical side, Felix. Like you have the source and you have the attribution, the campaign as well. And based on the campaign, you can show different ad experience.
How do you guys do that on iOS?
That's a great question.
Shameless plug-in here.
Nice.
Yeah, you can try our attribution and analytics solution.
Nice.
Whoa.
Ooh, didn't see that coming, but
with a
that's
smile
amazing.
like that.
No, but it's amazing because like how would you do that
Yeah.
if you don't, you can't use it on, but that's the thing, you can't use it on user level, but you can do it on campaign level.
Exactly, and even creative, right?
Yeah. So each creative can have a different experience if you want, or if you. So okay, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Easy. I mean, obviously, I think you were discussing this campaign ad segmentation multiple times, Felix, that it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a company in London also that's doing some interesting things where basically they're using AI to determine how many ads you should show to a specific users based on in-game metrics.
AI these days.
I mean, I am artificial and I am intelligent. Is it because I'm Botox? I don't know. Or is it because I'm clever?
And do you want to see something funny? Actually,
I do.
Of course you do. Of course you want. Let me bring something up quickly. Where do I have here? So look.
Anton from Saying Games was indeed the first one to talk about that, Martin. I'm glad you took something away from that podcast. Glad you enjoyed it.
Can you hear the sound, guys?
Yeah. Again, the previous UA Killer articles were super successful, so I started writing a UA Killer tips segment. I will keep sharing these tips. Don't worry. Keep reading the
tips.
That's
not you.
Of course, it's not me.
English is way too good.
Yeah, the English is way. Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. But this is my AI avatar, basically.
Oh,
so I created myself, and the lip syncing is insane. Of course, the English is too good to be true, but I'm working on that. They didn't clone my voice that
no
much.
Bullshit and brutally honest.
Yeah, it's obviously it's not me, but still, I will definitely nail this because as you might have noticed, I'm talking about how this year the UA is more about creatives and how people need to be able to write a script, to a little bit of story here and there, and obviously make a video. So I want to be, I know I really shoot a lot of videos when I was on the vacation, and even now for the playable trends and for some games, like for a game which is Modern Combat Mayhem, I recorded myself playing with toy soldiers and do pew, 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 stuff like that. Man, it's killing it. Like that creative is really working well. So I'm doing all this crazy stuff because this is what you need to do.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go.
No, sorry. I was just quickly saying. And kind of the pattern that we've noticed both work, and then when we look at what's happening in the market is that you have that normally horrifying CTR ad, like kind of being the core of it, but then you add something in the beginning which is like a very solid hook. Could be even like a meme if you don't care about copyrights. But like that's the interesting thing for me is like as soon as like these video models, and we've been trying this out, it's not quite there yet, but soon it will be. So you'll be able to create like very actual meme like usage, like that looks something completely out of like the funny fail army videos or whatever that you have seen, and then you can put that as the hook. You have all the copyrights, you can scale that up, you don't have to care about your like legal department getting tons of messages. It's crazy good. Yeah
it is.
I wanted to ask more about the question we talked about, Martin asked about the segmentation on iOS and stuff. Like, are you allowed to, without naming any client names, or maybe you can, like what they're doing and how they're doing it? Because I'm just very curious.
That was a bit of a shameless plug there, because we actually haven't done that too well yet, but it's a technical capability. So what essentially, just to paint you a big, very high level technical picture. It's an all bullshit like podcast, so I can't bullshit you guys. Exactly. That's something we haven't yet.
Exactly. But I followed up with a question that came clean.
but yeah, technically, again, what we do is that we're able to, like, we send back to the SDK a creative token that like essentially tells from which creative specifically the user came from, and then that's stored locally, and then you're doing all the like stuff for that creative token, right? So you can do whatever you want with that. Like we're able to share that. We have the ways of sharing that directly with you. So if you want to build logic within your game to actually have different things happening based on what type of a creative token it is, that's something that already technically we allow you to do because of the entire data flow that we have. But no one's done it.
YOLO with the heavy question.
Wait, did we talk about the previous, like the future hurdles or issues do we see coming?
Oh yeah, I missed that.
For the IDFAs and cookies, like, are removed to track users and devices. Like, is there trouble on the horizon for tracking? I mean, duh, obviously. Like every
AppsFlyer's valuation is looking very big.
Well, look, there's maybe the Google Sandbox privacy, which was supposed to kind of come, but I'm not sure when it's gonna even happen. And there's always something cooking under the hood for privacy.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, they just defined their policy in terms of IP address being used in terms of fingerprinting as well. And it's funny because you have like all these regulations saying one thing on the other side, and typically they're saying no to everything, right? But then truly what kind of defines where the industry can go is what the platforms say, what actually Google and Apple say, honestly. And now Apple's being kind of vague when it comes to all things probabilistic, right? And they've said, no, you can't do this. But then on the required reasons API, like it still has like stuff that's very, well, IP isn't there. And now Google just said, okay, this is actually fine. This is sort of the limit. What we're gonna like put to fingerprinting, I guess. So hard to tell.
Can I put on my tinfoil hat and share my theory about iOS here?
Yes,
please
do. So basically, Apple was getting worried that Facebook was taking over and the iPhone would basically meta run because they were doing all the UA on iOS, right? So that's why they kneecapped by basically taking away the IDFA, right? So at the same time, Apple search ads scaled up, right? A lot. And in a perfect Apple world, you'd be paying all your UA money to Apple to get users to download your Apple ads, right? Because 12% of the Apple income, like the revenue, comes from the App Store in terms of IAPs, right? So they're dependent on people finding new apps, downloading and buying stuff, right? The trouble was that Apple search ads, you can't scale campaigns there, correct, Mate? To a certain degree, because there's not enough ad placements, right?
It's not enough. It's not about ad placements. It's because it's different channel. It's intent based. If people don't really search for certain keywords, you don't have the impressions. That's the thing.
Yeah. So my theory is that they still allow fingerprinting to occur on iOS, because otherwise the IAP revenue on the Apple platform would go down by so much that it would hurt Apple's bottom line. So the logical move here would be to build a DSP and open an audience network. So Apple search ads would be inside of an ad stack, because that would take away the intent problem from Apple search ads and basically start competing on the open market. Then, since they allow basically tracking for Apple search ads, that's when you take out probabilistic stuff and that stuff in its knees, meaning that everything would just go to Apple search ads because they have an audience network. All right, let's see what you hear, because
Yeah.
all right, it's a great theory.
Yeah, I mean, like a ton of it makes sense, but well, at the same time, in Meta, like they have 3 billion people using their platform, like one of their services a month. It's such a vast like audience that like completely pushing that outside of like profitable scaling and marketing would like it's hard to think that would actually Apple could do that. And secondly, for them to kind of be able to completely cut down probabilistic, like technically they can't, like there's like, well, practically, because there will always be a possibility for the developer to do some server side of things together with the networks, and there always be these options. The only way would be to basically loop all the traffic coming in and out of the games through their private relay, which essentially would cost them probably more that they could profit out of owning the entire ad space, right? So that's my take on it. But
yeah, look, the audience network and the DSP, I think you were talking about it a long time ago. And
2022 was leaked.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like,
you know how long it takes to build a DSP?
2 years. No.
4 years.
4 years. 4 years. 4 years.
Okay. That's what I've been told. From scratch, it takes 4 years to build a DSP.
It's coming.
Okay. Then we have 1 more year to go.
Exactly.
Then we can discuss this. I don't think it's gonna happen.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's they're actually building it. Is this based on the truth?
Based on they hired 30 people, all demand side platform related in 2022. I don't know if they're still there, but I haven't seen anything about it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we don't know. And also,
it's a good theory, though. Admit it.
Of course, yeah. Of course. It sounds and feels good on paper.
And
I was like,
and honestly, I think that can happen. Apart from the fact that they would be able to actually pull the plug on all things probabilistic, but I'm like definitely them becoming a DSP essentially, or
would
opening
we care though? Then, because then we could just buy all our ads with tracking from Apple.
But still, again, 3 billion people on Meta's like network. It's a lot of people, and
yeah. I don't think they're gonna have even close to the same amount of people like AppLovin has on Max, 180,000 games, which definitely helps with algo, right?
Yeah.
So it's even if they build it in 4 years, it doesn't really mean that we are going to be able to use it to certain scale and certain quality, because then you would still need to have a purchase optimization, an event optimization, a ROAS optimization, all of this fun stuff, which some of the bigger ad networks just like added like recently, and they're on the market for a long time. So it's not that easy. If it's happening, it's gonna be 2030.
So
2028, let's call it.
Yeah. So for AQHA2, he said it's true. He's building it, so it's confirmed. Hero.
I'm
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, what do you guys think about alternative stores? Like now with specifically on EU lab like regulations pushing it there now alternative. Aptoid, I think, just actually opened up publicly yesterday, I think, or so. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, more stores, more traction on the UA side of things. I can and also pretty good deal for the developers. So I don't honestly, hopefully good for everyone, but I don't see that as easy as it sounds. Again,
Huawei tried to do this with a lot of money and they failed.
Exactly.
Samsung as well,
effects,
but
network effects are really big, right?
Yeah.
So let's see.
Exactly. And on Huawei, like it was already even pre-installed in all the devices as well. And yet they still couldn't like get like big games onboarded, even with the rewards and incentives and everything. Exactly.
They were paying people crazy amounts. Like there was like rumors that PlayerX got offered like millions to rebuild the game on Huawei stores and stuff like that. And it's still, it's like that meme. Try stop making a thing. It's not going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I can see a world where this gets some traction, but if it's gonna like compete with App Stores or Google Play, most probably no. The same thing with like Huawei or Samsung. It had and still has some DAU and some games, but if you want to scale there, it's like it's not possible. It's just not gonna work.
Right.
I don't think
a fun thing regarding those as well, I just remembered actually, now that Felix, you mentioned Huawei, but we back when like they were really pushing this, like it was 3-4 years ago or something. So of course they don't have any A/B testing or anything available on Huawei App Gallery yet. So they reached out to us, and we actually ended up building kind of for specifically the European and the Western market, like the sort of official A/B testing platform for them. So that they
so you wasted your time for 6 months.
100%. And because okay, I won't tell any revenue figures here, but you're gonna love this. Guess how many tests did we actually end up running through Huawei App Gallery?
4.
Felix got it right. 100 points to Gryffindor, like 0.
Oh my god. Okay.
So they're coming a mile away. Oh man.
It's crazy.
Wait. We have questions actually.
YOLO Games is a painful one to read. Is there anything to be done when your App Store account is terminated for getting rejected for the same reason many times and the issue is still present? Then the follow-up question, is there any marketing thing you can do for a Steam game? So
but that's different. I mean, different than, but still.
I'm really sorry to hear that, by the way. That sucks. One, it's very hard to get, like, unless you're at a certain stage, it's very hard to get like actually on the line, and you have to be kind of a supercell to be able to actually get on the phone directly. And also the rules are not fair, to be honest. Like there are certain guidelines on the app stores that you have to follow, but no one follows those. And of course, like we've seen them over and over again. Like if you have like a Forex game and you're showing actual gameplay, which is essentially maps with a UI that has a lot of like different red notification icons in it, it's not going to convert as well as something that actually portrays your characters nicely. So that the second one is something that is not allowed by Apple's guidelines. It should just be screenshots from the actual game, right? And we've noticed that like during like when they get like a lot of I don't know why it is, but like could be now this is my tinfoil, okay? But before the summer, we see a lot of rejections happening as well. So it could be that they have like some eager like trainees coming in or whatever that actually go through the list like item by item. Like we've seen things get rejected because a corner of a app review video that had a play button like was missing of the play button. Whereas at the same time you have cinematic trailers that are gets approved.
All the AI bullshit stuff that we see on the UAs, and then it's in the store as well. Like how is that even connected to the game? Also the freezing families in the video, and then on the store in the first screenshot, no rejections. I mean, come on. That's how it works. It's something, you know what you need to do? Just resubmit, no change, and you're good.
Does that work a lot of times?
Yeah, it's like so many times.
Really?
No, it's like it's unfortunately, but it's I guess said it's just the rejections like these. It's just random, and someone really eager to make it. Then is like kind of doing this, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But the Steam games and marketing for Steam games. Do you have any shameless plug, Mister? Because what I heard when I worked on few Steam games, like you have a solution how to run some interesting stuff on the Steam side.
Is there anything you don't solve? Like Huawei A/B testing?
We've tried a lot of stuff, and I'm happy to say that on Steam the amount of tests is not zero.
It's not zero. Yeah, because I ran at least one, so it's not zero.
Yeah, and we have some testimonials as well on the site, so there must be more. That's good. No, but yeah, like honestly, like for the question itself, when you think about it, players are players, viewers are viewers, so kind of the same methodologies like applied to whatever in certain extent happens in mobile marketing can be applied in Steam as well. The differences are then in terms of the technologies and the stack that you use. What we've done is that we have like a testing, like you can test the actual store layout through our like the same landing page formula that we talked about earlier here. So essentially driving from ads directly to landing page. We use add to wish list rather than like actually the actual value to get more conversion events to better understand like kind of how the page works. But that way you'll be able to test out what page actually converts the message in a good way.
So, but in terms of the whole marketing for Steam, so again, the campaign logic is the same. It's just different optimization. So I use Facebook, I use Google, I even use TikTok. There are Reddit kind of ads that I tried before. But I need to work with Reddit ads a little bit more because I was treating it almost like a Facebook where you just go broad and then let the algo to do the magic. Well, Reddit is not there yet, so you actually need to do a lot of targeting on that side. But what I'm doing usually is either a landing page where I track the buttons and basically, like you said, add to wish list and send it back to Facebook, Google, and TikTok as an event, and then optimize for that in the campaigns. So it's almost like an install wrap event optimized campaigns on mobile. So nothing that different. You just need to know that you run the landing page instead of Steam because there's basically no Steam, very limited Steam attribution. You can use the UTM tags to just identify the campaign, but the event optimization on the landing page brings you better quality of the users rather than just using clicks and sending people to Steam page. So you add one step in the between the actual Steam page and your ad, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it because the quality increases dramatically. Yeah. And then you need to do a landing page conversion optimization and a landing page testing, and it gets a little bit more complex, but still. I remember those days. It's basically like you're running a landing page for any other web-based games. It's you run short landing page, long landing page, different buttons, layouts, visual designs, and all of the fun stuff. So, but yeah, the campaign logic basically the same. All right, Felix. Martin was wondering if you heard about any games doing these segmentations and the numbers of different segments present in the game, because it's also quite a big amount of work to do for a studio. I mean,
look, like if you have a small studio and you don't have that much, like the easiest thing is just that you basically change serving logic by country. So like I was operating a game at one point that was making 50 to 80K a day, and basically it was a very lean team. And basically all we did was just increase in geos by 25% the interstitial show rate, so the timer. And basically that's segmentation, but it's super simple. And then we just looked at the retention, right? So like if you don't want to make it complicated, you can just change that. Like for example, go to Indonesia and increase the amount of interstitials and see if the retention is the same. Like that's still segmentation, right? So like most games that are ad driven that I work on, they do have some sort of form of segmentation, but it doesn't have to be hard, right? Like it can literally, that is segmentation. In Indonesia, just show more ads, like have a lower cooldown period. In India, in wherever, like that's okay too. That's segmentation. But the thing is, once you start, it's usually easier to keep going with the harder stuff because you know it adds value. So just start with something simple, like Indonesia, like all these ones that work that don't care as much about ads, and see how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, there was a message. Delete it. I hope you will repost it. Okay. We are small. Oh, fuck! Now it's just jumping. Okay. Now it's okay. Retract it. Anyway, so we have that two apps being relatively equal, audience, gameplay, retention, etc. Why could one game have only half ECPM of the other? Ooh, would it be because of placements?
So basically, ECPM is 100% decided by a group of factors. So algorithms for networks are all decided by various factors. Google uses 94 factors to decide ECPM. Rumor has it that one of the factors is the weather. So basically, they link the weather with whatever you're doing. AppLovin has 71 different factors, and apparently what their algorithm is weighted towards is device quality, so how expensive your device is. Iron Source has 61, I was told by someone, but basically there's like 7 or 8 main factors that decide what your ECPM is, and everything is tied back to the performance that networks see of the ads that they show in your game on a 7-day rolling basis. So if the performance from the ads that they're showing is not converting, giving them money, they will pay less for your users. That's all it is. Simple as that, right? It's not a conspiracy. It's just capitalism at work, right? So what are the 7 or 8 main factors that contribute in the most weighting? And those are the ones that usually every network has access to. So the first one is geo, very simple. Are you in the US or are you in Angola? That will be different ECPM that you're going to be paid out for those users because of the purchasing power, right? Yeah. The other thing that is also given a lot of weight is, are you running a lot of UA, and did the network that sees the UA or that sees the user in the mediation, did they also bring that user? So if Mathieu buys a user on Mintegral and then basically it shows up in my app, and then inside of the mediation platform, Mintegral sees that user, they have data that tags that GID or IDFA with a bunch of data in their platform. So that becomes meaning that they can bid more accurately, so higher or lower for that user. So basically, are you doing a lot of UA or not? Then also, are your users converting a lot? So basically, do you have 80% IAP? Are you showing those purchasers also? Because that's valuable to, let's say, a Forex game that will bid a higher ECPM. Then you get into the other things, right? That also has an impact. One of the biggest things is also the recency effect. And what does that mean? That essentially means that networks assume that we're all stupid because we basically lose interest over time. So basically that means that the first impression that a user sees per day is called first look. And that is worth more because essentially users have more attention. So basically the value of each ECPM per impression on an impression level decreases as you show them more throughout a session or day. So an idle game which shows 18 impressions per day, the 17th impression is going to be worth pretty much like so much less than the first one. Some things you can do to kind of spoof that AppLovin tries to fight, but basically those are the main factors that decide like what it is. So in summary, like what's happening in your two games, one converts better than the others for user acquisition campaign than the other one. And that's where the delta in the ECPM comes from. Or maybe the weather.
Maybe the weather.
Nice.
So we have 2 more questions, but I will start with this one, which was retracted, but now it's finally up there. So we have a daily budget of $1,500. Daily budget. It's not bad actually. Does it make sense to test different UA channels or stick to one? We are using Unity ads currently, and mediation is level play. We create puzzle brain games. Felix, well, what do you say? Felix, as a second best manager on a UA manager on the podcast, what do you think? Should they use only one channel or more?
You need more channels, and you should maybe switch.
You should make radiation. Yeah. Yes, you go, and I will. I
was just about to say that there was a rumor going around that said, according to, it was something that leaked out of something in Meta that showed that if you spend $1,500 a day, which again, like it's a good number, but it's of course like what that's up to $500,000 a year. No. Well, sorry, too late.
Doesn't matter.
Maths now. Yeah. Anyways, but according to that, you would have been in like a segment that Meta called like the top 5%, which that was actually going around in a lot of these Slack groups. Not sure if that's the case, that you would actually be part of the top 5 spenders in Meta with $1,500 a day.
Okay, interesting. But the thing is, with 1,500 a day, running Unity only, good luck. Obviously, as you have the level play, which makes sense. If you run Unity, I would run Iron Source rather than Unity in this case. But okay, you should definitely try other channels. I mean, there is the UA diversification topic that I'm talking about all the time. I mean, what if Unity dies? You are screwed. So I would take 20% of that budget and try Google, try Facebook. Uplavin is not going to work, but then other channels as well, Mintegral. And I mean, slowly, step by step, diversify this so you actually have that 1,500. What's going to happen, I believe, this is going to increase because you will get better results on the other channels. So you will have more money on your bank account and you can spend more. So definitely makes sense to test others. If you can say what kind of monetization you have, that would be also helpful because that can allow you to pick the right channels for you.
Yeah, is it like puzzle brain games that are like impulse where it's 70-30, or is it like puzzle games where it's like 100% ad games?
How is puzzle brain games like impulse?
Right. That is a brain training game. I don't know if it's a brain training game, but it is a game.
Yeah, it's an app, which is a game. Right. So, yeah. I know.
Jesse, you be the arbiter of truth here. Who do you side with? Me, who's right, or Matti, who's wrong?
I'm going to be a very, very good Finnish politician here. On the App Store, I think the category is under educational, but in LinkedIn, those are called games as well.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, like, in the Finnish way, like, it doesn't matter as long as Russia doesn't invade.
Right.
It's all ads driven.
All ads driven, yeah. In that case, Facebook ad ROAS campaigns can work. Also, Google ad ROAS campaigns can work. It doesn't matter what kind of optimization you have, mediation you have. So I would definitely go there as a next step, at least. And then we have another question. I think that's going to be one of the last ones.
Yeah.
I've heard that Uplavin is much better at ad ROAS campaigns compared to others for an idle game. Is this true? If you're on max mediation, then yes. If you're not, then you can't run ad ROAS campaigns. Well, for idle games, I think that was the case for a long time. There was a very large portion of games, idle games, running on Uplavin with quite big success. So I would incline to say it's kind of true. Because but I would also run other channels for ad ROAS. Because the Facebook has it. Facebook will soon implement day 7 ROAS, from what I've heard, on ad ROAS, so that can improve some numbers.
Cannot confirm or deny, because I've never run a UA campaign. But this has been a lovely episode. That
keeps giving me missing object notifications. Okay, so last comment. Meta keeps giving me the missing object notification for Meta ads. How do I get past this? Log out, log in, first thing. Second thing, create the campaign from scratch. Don't duplicate anything. And also, might be just a bug that disappears tomorrow, because that's what usually happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I kept this for the end, because there is a person. Hi guys, I got here late. Can I know what services Geek Lab offers? So,
love it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this is gonna
Thank
be
you
the
very
last.
Did you write
much.
this,
comment.
Jesse? Did you write this?
Yeah.
So how much do we have?
Can you?
10 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna keep it very short. Thanks though. But yeah, so first, if you're about to launch a game, we help you with concept testing, validation, understanding who your audience is, and then when it gets to actually acquiring users, specifically on iOS where you have issues with attribution and analytics, we'll help you solve all those without scan, without actually even MMP as well. So it's completely outside of that.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming. Yes, it was great. We will.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we would love to have you again at some point.
Yeah, it was actually learned shit ton from Felix and you as always. So thanks a ton for having me as well.
Awesome. Also, dear listeners, thank you very much for coming. We will do this again next month, actually, and I will let you know a little bit more in advance, because I will be at GDC. But then after I come back from GDC, we should do it. So it count with like end of the month. See you there. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Okay, I ended the stream on YouTube. Now I'm stopping this here.